Welcome to the 12 Report with Blessings Mosugu, and these are the headlines. Presidency says former President Olusegun Obasanjo lacks moral standing to criticize President Tinubu over worsening insecurity. Federal government as to begin talks on 40% pay rise. South Africa's Ramaphosa dismisses U.S. claims of killing the whites as blatant misinformation. And as usual, we have our reporter stationed in different parts of the country and beyond. Sagir Ibrahim and Idong Joseph are in Abuja. Emmanuel Bagudu joins from Kano State, while Afia Hagan will be joining from London in the United Kingdom. We've got the details in a moment. We begin with the state of the nation, where the presidency has fired back at former President Olusegun Obasanjo, insisting he lacks the moral authority to criticize President Bola Tinubu over Nigeria's worsening security situation. Now, Obasanjo, speaking at an event in Jos, Plateau State on Friday, voiced concerns over the escalating insecurity across the country. He argued that Nigerians have the right to seek foreign intervention, accusing the government of failing to sufficiently protect its citizens. In a swift response, the presidency argued that terrorism took root under Obasanjo's administration, claiming that the security challenges facing the nation today are a direct consequence of failures during his tenure. The government also criticized Obasanjo's suggestion that President Tinubu should seek help from foreign nations if he is unable to resolve Nigeria's security crisis. These remarks were shared in a post by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communication, Sunday Dare, on his verified X account. Earlier on, the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the Northern Region and the FCT, Reverend John Hayab, shared his thoughts on the current security crisis.
To go back to this era of kidnapping again, and the rate at which the kidnapping is happening is multiple at a given time. I believe it's a strategy of the enemies to further confuse Nigerians, to further confuse the security agencies, to further create panic, and to further make room for all manner of things that they want to see happen in the country. But for me, I think this call for Nigerians to unite, this call for Nigerians to see this differently as a fight against all of us, a fight against our nation, a fight against our collective and intelligence, and stop every controversy and debate and just focus on how do we unite this country to bring this evil to an end, because you can see the pattern. It's just a strategy to further confuse Nigerians, and if we are not careful, we'll fall into the ploy and get ourselves confused instead of finding a solution. You have to look at every state and consider how they are trying to address this matter. Though security issue is a national issue, but at every given state you will see a different approach and you see a different situation. I'm not holding vote for any governor, but I do know that governors, though we call them the chief security officers of their states, but they still do not have what it takes to command the troop, to order the troop, and to ask them to go out there and fight. But there is also what government can do, and this is what I feel we should talk, discuss, and agree and work together to find a way of bringing this evil to an end. The era of excuses is over. We have a commander-in-chief, and from what we know, last week he gave a lot of orders. If these orders can be put into action within a short time, I see that these evil men that are deliberately looking for a way to divide Nigeria, deliberately looking for a way to further create disunity in Nigeria and further create confusion. We do know that evil is happening in our country, but the pattern shows that it is something more than what we are seeing.
Let's go now to Kaduna, where the state governor, Ubasani, is hosting an emergency security meeting of the 19th Northern governors as the region battles rising terrorist attacks and spreading insecurity across the country. The meeting aims to strengthen interstate collaboration and consider the possibility of a unified security architecture for the North. Still talking security, in the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force is marking 70 years since women were first and meted into its ranks, beginning a journey that has grown from clerical duties to frontline operations and international peacekeeping missions. The celebration began in Abuja with a road walk aimed at encouraging more women to join the force and highlighting the contributions female officers continue to make to national security. And right now, our correspondent, Idong Joseph, is standing by live in Abuja with the details of this. Idong Joseph, can you give us a sense of the mood? You were talking about the police force commemorating, the first time women were actually enlisted into the force. What is the mood like?
Shown that resilience, which they started this morning from the force headquarters here where I am, down to major streets across the city center, and then returned back to the force headquarters here and continue with some other activities, which has finished now, for now. So I'll tell you that the mood has been one of energy and showing the resilience of police women officers in the police force. And if you look at the work this month, anniversary of women in the force, with a work against gender-based violence, advocating for people to support that advocacy against the gender-based violence. Of course, we could recall that the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence of police women officers had to start today with that work against the gender-based violence. So I would say that it has been an energetic one and a symbol of the resilience of women police officers in the force in the last 7 decades.
So how significant would you say the role of women in the Nigerian police force has become in the last 7 decades?
Well, it has been so significant in the sense that just as the House of Representatives chairperson on women affairs stated this morning, that in communities where you get to see women taking the lead role in policing, you tend to see less of crimes in those areas, but compared to other areas. So women in terms of policing have helped to reduce they have helped in that area to reduce the rate of gender-based violence cases we've seen over the years. Though we still have a couple of those cases, but it has reduced compared to what we've seen over the years. And also in child protection, you can also identify that as part of the significant role they have played over the past 7 decades. And we hope to see more of this in the coming years.
Were there any specific challenges or policy gaps that were highlighted by the officers during this celebration?
Well, not just the officers highlighted some of those challenges which are peculiar to many sectors of the nation's economy. And one of that area is that women representation in leadership position has not improved over the years, and that is an area that needs to be improved. Among several challenges women police officers face, that is the key and major challenge that they feel should be addressed. And of course, we could recall that in the House of Representatives, there's a bill in the House seeking that women should have at least 15-20% of representation in leadership position. And that bill currently is at the committee stage. And we hope that if that bill end up and see if it sees the light of the day, then this issue of representation of women in leadership position will be addressed. And of course, if you look across the whole 36 states of the Federation, where we have the 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, we have just, I think about 2 police commissioners, and that is very abysmal, which we all hope that if that bill sees the light of the day, it will help address this issue, which they have pinpointed as the major challenge which women police officers face in the force.
So before we let you go, Idong, what initiatives would you say that the police leadership is putting forward to attract more women into the force?
Well, part of those initiatives from what we've had today is this celebrating women who have been in the force for over 60 years now, 70 years. Celebrating them today is part of those initiatives to encourage them that they are also being recognized in the force and their role are very important in the force. And also they said from the management here that they are expanding the slot for women to also come and also contribute to policing of the nation.
All right, Idong Joseph, thank you so much for joining us and giving us the update on the celebration of 7 decades of women enlisted into the police force. Now, reactions are still pouring in over President Bola Tinubu's latest list of ambassadorial nominees, with opposition parties describing the selections as politically motivated and damaging to democratic credibility. The African Democratic Congress criticized the nomination of former INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu, calling it a political settlement that could further erode public trust in the electoral system. ADC chieftain Malam Bolaji Abdullahi urged Yakubu to reject the offer and advised the Senate to turn it down, warning that the move threatens the integrity of Nigeria's democracy. The People's Democratic Party also faulted the list, describing it as reprehensible and filled with individuals with alleged integrity concerns and undemocratic histories. PDP's National Publicity Secretary Ini Ememobong said the nominations raise serious questions about transparency and accountability in the current state of the nation. We're now joined by a public affairs analyst, Alistair Wilcox, to discuss more on this. Alistair, let's start by having your reactions to the list. Are you satisfied with what you see?
Well, certainly, most Nigerians are not satisfied, just like you have said in your news, with the names that made it to ambassadorial list. You see, ambassadorial positions are positions of trust for persons who have the deep interest of Nigeria at heart. And it's not for any kind of people that just wakes up one day and then you make them ambassadors. Ambassadors are not people of mean value. They are people that have made it through a very, very rigorous process and have something very, 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 very substantial to offer the country, because you are like a de facto president of the country in another land. And so it should be persons that that people can say have the character and the temerity for such positions. And it is not position for maybe settlement of political just job for the boys. Ambassadors are supposed to be persons of high quality and high standard in terms of morality and in terms of value. So to that extent, not everybody is satisfied. Not because most of them are not Nigerians. They are Nigerians. Most of them have also excelled in their own fields of endeavor, but it leaves more to be desired.
So how could this ambassadorial nominations affect the public trust in Nigeria's democratic institutions, especially INEC? Because we know that there's been a high level of distrust for that body, particularly for a long time.
Well, I do not have any apologies for the president nominating the former INEC chair as an ambassador. As far as I'm concerned, that is a non-issue. Professor Mahmood is qualified to be appointed and is no longer INEC chairman. That somebody serve in a particular position does not deprive him of other services to the country. I mean, let's take a man like Professor Loyede, who served as the vice chancellor of the University of Ilorin, and since he was appointed to JAMB, he has been serving creditably. So will you deny such a person if he has the quality to offer? That Professor Mahmood was appointed into as an ambassador by the president. It's not doesn't show that Mahmood was not qualified. Mahmood is eminently qualified as an ambassador of Nigeria. So that he served as an INEC chairman should not deprive, because there are so many people who have served in INEC and they are in other positions. There are people who have served EFCC, they are in other positions. There are people who have served as governors, they are in other positions. As far as I'm concerned, Mahmood is not my issue. But you see, there are a lot of names I found here. I mean, I don't have a problem with anybody, but we're talking about people with high level of integrity. A lot of people frown at Reno Mokri. Because today, what do you call it? Social media is bringing out so many things that he has said against the president. And for such a person to go and present Nigeria and the president in a foreign country leaves much to be desired. He could have been given another position, maybe one of the spokesperson of the president, since he has now shown that he can speak well for the president. Maybe it's a post like that, but not the face of the nation in a foreign land. You're also bringing people like Ikpe Azu. Some of these persons do not even work for the president. You know, people like Ikpe Azu and all that, they didn't work for the president. You know, and that is where a lot of people, especially loyalists of the president, are having challenges. That the president just sidelined those that really, really work for him. You see people like former Governor Enugu State who go, and yes, they may be part of the G7, G5 governors that maybe the activities worked a bit to help the president, to destroy the votes of the PDP and help the president. But this person could be given some other jobs, board positions, internal jobs, not ambassadorial positions. You know, Fani Kayode is known to be someone that talks out of point most of the time, with due respect. We're talking about people representing Nigeria as ambassadors. So most of the colleagues of the president that really, really stick out their neck for him, that worked tirelessly, some of them are still having backlashes from either their families, their friends, their associates. These people are left in the cold, and persons who do not do anything just by association or by mere having connection to somebody within the system make lists as ambassadors. We are talking about ambassadors. We must not diminish the position of ambassadors. Ambassadors, countries send their best as ambassadors. It's not a job that you just go there and you start having tea and you just have. Ambassador is somebody that goes to another country to promote the interest of his own country. So you see, we just treat it as anything, you know. So for me, I don't think that is right. Yes, there are a lot of career ambassadors in the list, and then the career ambassadors, I don't have any issue about them because these are trained ambassadors. These are trained persons in foreign services, and they already know their work. But those politically exposed ambassadors, I mean, what are they going to do? What really are they? What are their backgrounds that they will use? Do they really believe in the president's agenda? Most of them. Do they really believe in the president's agenda? Do they really believe in it? Do they work for the president during his emergence? Whether or not some of those that were damaging the president, calling him names and destroying him, how can such persons now become the face of the president of the country in a foreign land? So I don't know. I don't know the minds of the political circle when they are making their decisions. But sincerely speaking, as a Nigerian, as somebody who is committed to the interests of this country, I think and I believe that when we're sending ambassadors, there must be those that have the interest of the commander-in-chief, have his full interest, his full vision at heart, then have the interest of the country, despite whatever political divide you have. So that when you go out, you are working for the country, not just a job for the boys. Ambassadors are the president's representative in a country. So they should be men and women of high ethical standard, high moral values, accomplished in their various fields of endeavor, track records of what they believe in. Their belief system must come to fail. And anyway, they are now left to the Senate. Is it the same rubber stamp Senate of bow and go, or the same kind of Senate that just say your name, say your date of birth, and you just go? If the Senate of Nigeria wants to be fair to this country and to the president, then they need to do a thorough job in order that only the best and those that have the interest of the president and the interest of the country are made to represent us in a foreign land, not just anybody.
All right. Thank you so much, public affairs analyst Alistair Wilcox, for lending your voice to this. And like you said, it's not just anyone who should be an ambassador because they're representing the interest of a country. Thank you once again. You're still live with us on the 12th Report. We're going on a short break now. When we come back, we've got more stories. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now let's go to Kaduna State, where the governor, Obasanjo, is hosting an emergency security meeting of the 19 northern governors as the region battles rising terrorist attacks and spreading insecurity across the country. The meeting aims to strengthen interstate collaboration and consider the possibility of a unified security architecture for the North. Our correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu is live at the Sir Kashim Ibrahim Government House, the venue of the meeting. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us. Now, you are live at the venue where the Kaduna State Governor Obasanjo is hosting a meeting regarding the security crisis that the entire nation is facing. What has been the highlight so far? Has the meeting started? What has been the discussion? And what are we expecting from the meeting?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. What's happening right now here is the governors seem desperate because they are here with their traditional rulers. They are not just governors. Some of them are here with their deputies. Some of them are here with their traditional rulers. Some of them are here with their stakeholders, and they are looking desperate for a solution. They need to go back to their states and tell their electorate that this is the decision they have taken so far. I mean, the meeting is so highly profiled that very few journalists are even allowed to enter because even News Central was denied access. I was boldly told that News Central cannot cover that event, probably because of some kind of sensitive issues they are afraid of trying to dish out to the public. But by and large, what is happening here is the fact that all the governors are here, all the governors of the northwest, the entire northern states are here, and they are here with their traditional rulers, and they are here to bring out quality solutions to end this insecurity in the country. And then what is happening right now is the fact that people, northerners are expecting, are having very high expectations from the outcome of this meeting. Yeah, thank you.
So, Emmanuel, from what you've observed so far, are the governors signaling any concrete decisions or concrete commitments that could change the current security trajectory? Because like it or not, we've been having these meetings over and over again. So what is the difference in this meeting? What difference are we expecting this time?
Yes, we're approaching the pre-election year. Of course, the election or the pre-election year, if you like, it is 2026. And these governors are coming here to, meet and be able to bring out tangible solutions. They are coming out to, provide, they are trying to come up with solutions that they will be confident enough to present to the people when 2026 finally arrives. So we don't expect anything less. We expect quality solutions from this meeting. Nigerians are expecting quality solutions from this meeting. And they are not missing words. They are not even joking about it because they don't want to talk to the facts. Some of them are just interested in getting a final solution to this issue. And then what is different for this time around is the fact that we're having an issue of interstate collaborations. Of course, we have that report between Kano and Kaduna where it was alleged that there was a crossover of terrorists from Kaduna into Kano. These are issues, of course, from Zamfara and Kano, into Kano. So these are issues that are expected to be resolved in this meeting. And nobody is expecting anything less from this meeting. Everybody is looking forward to ask minister or governor questions on what they have decided on dealing with this issue, because they are executive governors. They have been given that power to deal with this issue. And I speak to you, more of them are still coming. I will just go, okay, that's the governor of Gombe, just behind me. That's the Gombe State governor, just behind me. That's him passing. That's what I've been told. So they are interested in making a final decision on this issue. They are not trying to come here and just do some kind of cosmetic approach. They are just coming up. We expect that by the time it is evening, we will see a communique that will make people give a sigh of relief. That will make people now say that they are confident to come to the north, to do businesses, do tourism, and all of that. We did the decision of this 19 governors, yeah.
Okay, now we've talked about different security outfits, right? And security coordination has often been a challenge across different states. So is there any indication that a unified regional security outfit is truly on the table?
One of the main key issues that everybody look forward to, it was also discussed over the weekend by the Senate Ad hoc Committee on Security, where they said they want a centralized theater command in the north. There has to be a centralized theater command in the north that is going to take care of the entire 19 northern states. That is the issue that everybody is looking forward to. So everybody expects, Nigerians expect to see that centralized, because the money is available. Of course, security was available. Of course, from the budget, from the tax allocations, from the subsidies, excess product and all that, these governors are having money that they don't have any excuse to be having issue of insecurity. So everybody expects that there is certainly going to be a centralized theater command that will take care of these security issues. That is what everybody is expecting. And even if there's something bigger than that, it's still something that northern Nigerians are expecting, because the insecurity issues become so overwhelming here in this country, in this part of the country.
All right, Emmanuel Bagudu, thank you so much for bringing us an update. That's News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu bringing us an update from Kaduna State, where the governor, Obasanjo, is putting together a meeting regarding the security issue, especially ravaging that region. Now, in Osun State, Governor Ademola Adeleke has imposed a 24-hour curfew on Igbajo in Buluaduro local government area, following a breakdown of law and order in the community. The unrest, which began on Sunday night and spilled into Monday morning, is said to be linked to tension surrounding the death of Prince Adegboyega Famodun, who passed away last week after a brief illness. In a statement signed by the Commissioner of Information and Public Enlightenment, Kolapo Alimi, the governor directed an immediate lockdown of the town until peace is fully restored. Adeleke condemned the violence, insisting that his administration will not tolerate any form of civil disturbance capable of threatening the peace currently enjoyed across the state, including Igbajo. News Central Television has expanded its broadcast operations with the launch of a new state-of-the-art studio in Abuja, a development the organization says will strengthen its editorial presence and deepen its impact across Nigeria and the African continent. The high-tech studio, located in the Federal Capital Territory, is equipped with advanced production tools, modern sets, and enhanced capabilities for live reporting and real-time news gathering. The facility is expected to boost the channel's storytelling capacity, improve its production quality, and provide wider coverage of political, economic, and social developments from the nation's capital. The managing director and editor-in-chief, Kayode Akintemi, described the launch as a major step in News Central's strategic growth, saying it reflects the organization's commitment to excellence, innovation, and telling compelling African stories with clarity and impact.
I have always thought from day one, from the moment I took over being the managing director, editor-in-chief of News Central, I've decided that definitely, without a doubt, we need a base in Abuja. We had a base in Abuja, but it wasn't an easy access location for a lot of people. So we decided we've got to be right here at the Churchgate Tower, where we know that there is nobody in Abuja that won't be able to access this. Wherever you are from, it's so easy. It is called the Central Business District, the Central Business Area in Abuja. So it's so easy to get into this place. We're on the 10th floor right here. And it's a place that we know that people will come to easily. The reason for the choice is because you can't be a television station that is truly Nigerian and very, very clearly working across the country, and you don't have a base in Abuja. Every business is looking to have a northern headquarters in Abuja. And so that informed our decision to make sure that we do this. It's very important. Secondly, this is something that a lot of people will definitely know that it resonates with them. Whenever we are inviting, now you guys have gone through this experience. Every time you're inviting any guests to come, either as an analyst or as a government officer, and they're working in Abuja, and you ask them to come and feature on the station, the first thing they're asking is, where's your studio in Abuja so that we can go there? That's the big question that a lot of people are asking. But when you don't have a place where they can go to, then it becomes difficult. You're subjected to the whims and caprices of the network, where you know that 1 minute the network might work, the next minute the network might not work. So we don't want to be in that situation where we're dropping calls every time, the audio is bad, the quality of the video is questionable. I mean, look at what I've got behind me. This is so beautiful. Abuja is an amazing place. So there's no reason for us to not show off what we have in Abuja to the...
And now the federal government has reportedly proposed a 40% salary increase for members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. This comes as ASU prepares to reconvene negotiations with the government's team led by Yayale Ahmed. Sources in Abuja confirmed that the offer is part of renewed efforts to end lingering disputes over welfare and working conditions in public universities. ASU's National Executive Council reached a consensus at its meeting on Sunday, paving the way for the union to return to the negotiation table. Branch leaders who attended the session are expected to brief their members nationwide on the outcome. The development comes just after ASU's one-month ultimatum to the federal government expired on Saturday, raising concerns across the academic community. You're still live with us on the news. We go on a short break, and when we come back, we've got more stories. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now let's go to the North Central. Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo has announced automatic employment for the best graduating students from each faculty at the Confluence University of Science and Technology, OSARA. The incentive was unveiled during the university's maiden convocation, where the governor also highlighted key upgrades and acknowledged federal support following the abduction of KUSTEC students earlier this year. Mono Balagbubu reports.
KUSTEC's maiden convocation in Osara produced 266 graduates, but the defining moment was Governor Usman Ododo's announcement of automatic jobs for top graduates in every faculty.
I am pleased to grant automatic employment to the best graduating students in each faculty. Your hard work deserves recognition, and we are proud of you.
The governor also outlined ongoing infrastructure development at the university and thanked President Tinubu for swift intervention during the abduction incident earlier in the year.
Mr. President, when some of our students were abducted, you stood solidly with us. You mobilized the entire security architecture of the nation to ensure their safe return.
The institution's founder and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello praised Ododo for sustaining the vision behind the establishment of 3 state universities.
It's not only consolidating and building on the foundation, but where even the foundation is faulty, he is strengthening and reinforcing and even expanding the foundation so that the superstructure that he is already building on top will be celebrated.
Vice Chancellor Professor Abdurrahman Salawu highlighted KUSTEC's growth with 56 NUC-approved programs across 8 faculties and 1 college serving over 5,000 students.
KUSTEC today, a flourishing academic community, through missionary leadership, strategic program developed, and government support, Kogi State grown into a robust academic institution, boasting 56 NUC-approved programs.
The convocation also celebrated academic excellence with top graduates receiving cash awards. KUSTEC says the first convocation marks a solid foundation for its identity and a long-term commitment to excellence in Kogi State. In Kogi for News Central, Mono Balagbubu.
And now to some business stories. The Nigerian Senate plans to revive the courier regulatory bill, aiming to unlock the nation's $16 trillion courier, logistics and transport market, with assets valued at $14 trillion. Senator Aliyu Ikra Bilbis, the chair of the Senate Committee on Communications, announced the move at the Courier Logistics Management Institute International Conference in Lagos, emphasizing the need for an independent regulatory body. Senator Adedayo Clement Adeyeye, represented by Senator Bosun Oladele, noted that over 80% of Nigeria's trade by volume is maritime-based, underscoring the essential role of logistics in driving economic and industrial growth. Now, the South African rand slipped 0.2% in early Monday trading, weakening to 17.1550 per dollar ahead of key November economic data releases. Markets await the ABSA manufacturing PMI at 9 GMT following October's decline driven by soft domestic demand and sluggish exports. Investors will also track vehicle sales figures due at 12 p.m. with Nedbank projecting strong November growth of 15.7%, supported by lower interest rates, reduced debt servicing costs, and subdued prices. This week brings additional indicators, including third quarter GDP on Tuesday, current account data Thursday, and foreign reserves on Friday. Now coming up on the news, South Africa's Ramaphosa dismisses U.S. claims of killing whites as blatant misinformation. We've got the details of this and more when we come back. Stay with us. Now a look at continental stories. The news continues in South Africa, where President Cyril Ramaphosa has dismissed allegations by the United States that his government is killing white citizens, describing the claims as blatant misinformation. The accusations stem from repeated statements by U.S. President Donald Trump, who has revived false claims of a so-called white genocide targeting Afrikaners, the minority population of European descent in South Africa. The tensions escalated after the U.S. boycotted last weekend's G20 summit in Johannesburg, followed by President Trump's announcement that South Africa will not be invited to the next G20 meeting scheduled to hold at a family-owned golf resort in Miami. In a televised address, Ramaphosa said the U.S. justification for its non-participation was rooted in baseless allegations of genocide and forced confiscation of white-owned land, claims he insisted have no factual grounding. Still staying in South Africa, where 4 suspects are expected to appear before the Kempton Park Magistrates Court this morning following their arrest on Friday on suspicion of contravening the regulation of Foreign Military Assistance Act 15 of 1998. The arrests follow a tip-off from OR Tambo International Airport Police regarding 4 men traveling to Russia via the United Arab Emirates. The arrests came after a group of former President Jacob Zuma's MK party members are stranded in the Ukraine, claiming they were trafficked to fight in the conflict-torn Donbass region. And now our News Central's correspondent, Bongani Siziba, is at the court. We cross over to her for more on this. Bongani, thank you for being here. Can you take us through the proceedings of the court? What is the conversation right now?
Certainly, blessings. Good afternoon to you, and also good afternoon to our viewers. The court proceeding respond to the 8th of December, that is next week, Monday. We have seen the 5 accused that are before the magistrate court here at Kempton Park. These 5 accused are being charged with contravening regulation of the Foreign Military of 1998 Act. They were arrested over the weekend, to be precise, on Friday at the OR Tambo International Airport. And we are clear now that among the 5, we are very certain that there is a seasoned journalist who was arrested allegations say that she is one of the recruiters. We also know that we have heard news that former President Zuma's daughter, that is Duduzile Zuma, has been accused also of being one of the recruiters South African citizens to Russia. We know that already there are 17 citizens who are in Russia who are stuck there. According to the Times Live, they're saying that in September, President Zuma was in Russia trying to negotiate with the Russian military just to release these 17 people, but he didn't succeed. This is according to the Times Lives. But also we know that these 5, if you can see the visuals that we sent, you can see that these individuals are very young, and looking at I think he has not reached around 22, 23. And what does this mean? It means that, as you know, that South Africa, like many other African countries, the youths are facing unemployment rate. So you find that the youths are being lured into things like this, where they are being trafficked because they are looking for greener pastures. So I think it's one of the similar issues where you find that the youths, they leave universities, they come out, they don't have employment. When opportunities like this come along their way, they will take those opportunities because of the unemployment rate. But according to the Hawk spokesperson, she also warned citizens that they should not be lured into such circumstances where they find themselves being in the forefront of the war and fighting in another country. But we have also seen families of these 17 individuals that are in Russia coming forward and talking about the experiences or how these 17 were recruited into the Russian army. But when we heard Zuma's daughter saying that she was also misled because she thought that these people, they are going for training, security training, then they come back and be security guards in the MK party, that is the former President Jacob Zuma's party. But when they go to Russia, they were now recruited into the Russian army. But we understand that there are two, if reports are to go by, that they already passed on in Russia, but 17 are still alive, and they are pleading with the South African government to intervene so that they can come back home.
On the court proceedings there in South Africa. We'll see how that turns out. And now Guinea-Bissau's military junta has announced a new government just days after seizing power in a coup. Meanwhile, ousted President Olusegun Obasanjo has arrived in Brazzaville in the Republic of Congo. The coup unfolded last Wednesday, barely 24 hours before provisional election results were expected. In swift moves to consolidate control, the junta named 28 officials, including 5 military officers and 4 women, to steer the country, which has long struggled with instability and drug trafficking networks. Tension remains high in the capital, Bissau, where clashes broke out after the opposition reported that armed militias stormed their party headquarters.
Primeiro, rigor e disciplina. Na uso de que juntar no tudo. Rigor e disciplina na uso de que juntar tudo, quer dizer, o uso de coisas públicas nos respectivos lugares. Segundo, combate à corrupção e ao tráfico de droga. Tolerância zero. Esse deve ser da luta.
É com elevado sentido de responsabilidade que assumimos hoje a condição de membros do governo de transição da República da Guiné-Bissau. É um executivo construído sob a autoridade do alto comando militar para a restauração da segurança nacional e ordem pública, com a missão patriótica de conduzir.
British MP Tulip Siddiq has been handed a 2-year prison sentence in Bangladesh after being convicted in absentia on corruption charges tied to land allocations involving associates of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Siddiq, who resigned as UK Treasury Minister earlier this year, amid scrutiny over her family connections, denies any wrongdoing and is not expected to serve the sentence. Now, several members of Hasina's circle have faced similar prosecutions since her removal from office. Many of them tried without being present. Nigeria is staring down what could be its worst hunger crisis in modern history, with projections suggesting that more than 35 million people could face severe food insecurity in 2026. Now, these warnings come as a combination of insurgent attacks, disrupted farming cycles, inflation, shrinking international aid, threaten food supply chains across multiple regions of the country. Communities in the Northeast, already battered by years of conflict, remain the most vulnerable, but the ripple effects are now spreading nationwide. Experts say that the situation is being driven by a perfect storm. Farmers are abandoning farmlands due to fear and violence. Of course, food prices continue to surge, leaving millions unable to even afford basic staples. Humanitarian agencies, already stretched thin, are scaling back programs due to funding cuts, leaving critical gaps in food disruptions and distribution efforts. Now, the crisis is not only a humanitarian emergency, but also a major threat to economic stability. Education, public health, national security, malnutrition rates are among children climbing, and families are being forced into desperate coping strategies. The government is under pressure to ramp up security, support agricultural revival, and strengthen social protection systems. There's also a call for stronger global cooperation and renewed donor commitment to prevent the crisis from worsening. Now, while Nigeria has weathered food crisis before, analysts warn that the scale of the current projections are unprecedented. The next few months will be critical in determining whether this looming emergency can be slowed or can be reversed. And that's your postscript. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. Team Nigeria are off to a flying start at the first West African Para Games in Abeokuta, with powerlifting leading the early medal charge. Onyechi Obaro is here and she'll give us the full story. Onyechi, are you ready for us?
Since we have dominated in 10 out of 15 sport on parade on Sunday since the West African Games kicked off. But we're hoping that Nigeria can gain dominance with the fact that they are hosting this competition this time around. We'll bring you more updates at 1 p.m. for In the Game.
Definitely, and hopefully so. Well, you've heard us stay tuned on In the Games, and that's all. To the WhatsApp number on the screen, because we want to see what you see. Also, do well to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Mosugu.